Hello everyone! In this session, we will discuss, analyze, and hopefully learn the social cultural approach of transformative learning by using the video of Oprah's training schools that you have seen as a springboard. Before we dig in, let's start by giving you some background on Paulo Freire, who made this idea of transformative learning known around the world. Paulo was born in 1921 in Brazil and was raised in a middle-class family that experienced severe poverty during the Great Depression. Poverty and hunger during Freire's youth caused several setbacks in his formal schooling, an experience that shaped the later development of his education philosophy. Now, there are two types of educations that Paulo usually mentions. They are banking education, which is a teacher-centered type of education, and a problem-posing education, which he believes is a more of a dialogue between the teacher and the student. Now that you know a bit more about Paulo Freire, let's connect the theory with practice as is done in transformative learning. You already know the background of the video of training schools, so my proposed thinking path to see the connection of the social cultural approach of transformative learning and the video starts with this question. How are the teachers from one school teaching differently than their counterparts in the other school? Now, please think that perhaps the teachers at Harper High School don't have the same tools as the other school does, uh, as is the case of perhaps computers or smartboards. But if you recall on the video, one of the students from Harper High Schools feels and expresses that the math taught in the other school is at a higher level than theirs. Now, why do you think that's the case? We can say that because the students at Harper High School don't have the tools used in Neuqua Valley High School, they can't move forward with the material. Now, I understand that point of view, but what do you think is the teacher's leadership in those schools like? In the previous slide, I mentioned teacher leadership because I would like to use this topic as a connection to the video and a way for you to experience transformative learning and how it can help our society. In the article by Harris in Extending Transfer of Learning Theory to Transformative Learning Theory, a model for promoting teacher leadership, Harris mentioned there are three conditions that influence transfer of knowledge. One of them is the feature of the task, the second one is features of the learner, and the third one is features of the organization and social context. Now, neither of those features mentions tools as computers or smartboards. Now, what I am thinking is that that article now will help us to understand that our learners, or in the case of the video, the Harper High School students, don't need those tools. They actually need several opportunities to practice, and the activity that they do in class has to have meaning for the learner. So I believe that if the school had a stronger leadership and they use transformative learning, perhaps the students' grades could be a little bit higher. Don't you? Don't you think that could be the case? I would also like to say that transformative learning has a social cultural approach because, as Freire mentions, in theory, the ultimate goal of education is liberation, and in practice, the action and reflection of men and women upon their world is ordered to transform it. Now, I also wanted to say that I haven't mentioned in this article by Harris. As an optional activity, you can read the article, which is also included in the thread where you found this video. Now, since transfer occurs when a student is able to apply knowledge learned in one situation to another, let's try to apply this new knowledge of this theory by analyzing the video a bit more in detail. Now, again, the idea of transferring learning, we are going to try to follow three different steps. Try to analyze, think, and change. That's the theory part. Now, let's put it into practice using that video that we watched before. Let's analyze. What did you believe or know about the school system and the practice of those schools in the training school videos? And what do you think now? by connecting the video and the topic of teacher leadership and the article that I was talking about, what is your new belief of these two? And lastly, to finish transformative learning, what change can you make? What changes do you think they made in the school? And if you were in their situation, what would you do to help this part of society to be better? Now, uh, you can answer those questions in the thread. The questions are also posted in there. And I am hoping that the idea was clear to connect the video in more of a social type of aspect, and that you can start thinking and using that transfer learning by analyzing what you know, by grabbing all this information I have given you. Think about it, and what changes can you make now that you have all of this information? I hope you enjoy the slide, and if you have any questions, please feel free to post it in there. Thank you so much, and have a good week.